welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Tobago. I'm Davia Chambers coming to you from downtown Scarborough. Now our team has been out and about covering the length and breadth of the island to bring you the major stories taking place right here in beautiful Tobago. As usual, in the next half hour, we'll bring you up to speed with all of the details. All you've got to do is sit back and relax because Let's Talk Tobago starts right now. It's another first for Tobago. This time, the island provided much-needed pediatric hyperbaric treatment. The National Gas Rebate Incentive Program has been relaunched to benefit registered fisherfolk and ultimately the consumer. The Tobago division of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service receives a timely donation. And later, a popular pro footballer gives back to her community with a youth tournament in Speyside. We have all these stories and more for you when Let's Talk Tobago returns. Stay with us.
There we go, to Tobago, that paradise, won by Robinson Crusoe. And it is said, it's the land of tomorrow. Princess Margaret Bay, come to Tobago for holiday. Now the whole world sings, come to Tobago for holiday. Smile, Larry, smile in Tobago. That paradise, found by Robinson Crusoe. And it is said, it's the
Earlier this year, staff at the Roxborough Hyperbaric Unit successfully treated David Goddard for the bends, also called decompression sickness. Now they've taken up the challenge of being the first in the Caribbean to provide hyperbaric oxygen therapy for a minor. We'll tell you more about him and why he's getting that kind of treatment in our first story. Have a look.
6-year-old Jaron Phillip is the first pediatric patient being treated at the island's hyperbaric chamber for his seizures. Jaron began suffering from seizures when he was 18 months old. The seizures have delayed his development, so much so he needs assistance carrying out simple functions like drinking a cup of water. Over the years, Jaron's dad, Keston Phillip, did a lot of research into hyperbaric oxygen therapy as a possible treatment for his son's seizures. Mr. Phillip is hopeful that the treatment at Roxborough's hyperbaric chamber will have positive results for his son.
At some point in time, you get to understand how oxygen therapy works. It gets into the hard places. And so we're hoping that the oxygen will get into those dead areas whatsoever is causing the seizure, and healing and restoration will take place. And when that happens, whatever is causing the heightened electrical activity will no longer cause him to have those cognitive problems. And so we are hoping to see him run again, ride his bike again, walk again, even hear him call his brother's name again. We're looking forward to that.
In the first phase, Jaron will undergo 15 sessions of hyperbaric oxygen therapy in the hyperbaric chamber. This kind of treatment for a child has been applauded by medical practitioners such as Dr. Tyler Sexton, Director of Caribbean Hyperbaric Medicine. For over 2 decades, Dr. Sexton has specialized in pediatric hyperbaric medicine in the United States.
So what is so incredible about Tobago embarking on this is you have taken a stand to say we believe in pediatrics, we believe in quality care and expanding evidence-based medicine and continue to look for ways to impact populations. But it is an incredible opportunity to touch the pediatric population as there's a vast array of illnesses that can be positively affected with hyperbaric medicine.
Hyperbaric oxygen therapy is used to treat many ailments such as decompression sickness, also called the bends, diabetic ulcers, and other types of wounds. Spending time inside a hyperbaric chamber increases the concentration of oxygen a patient receives, which leads to faster healing. The medical professionals at the hyperbaric chamber unit were commended for the work they continue to do in providing quality health care to all of their patients.
It's always a friendly one, a welcoming one, and also, you know, Mr. Hines, when you speak with him, He gives you a sense of assurance, you know, and confidence that he is the right person for the job. And so I thank God for Mr. Hines and for all the work that he has been doing in the background, even when I was willing to give up, you know, so I thank God for that.
We have confidence in Mr. Hines and his team and their ability to deliver. Their record speaks for itself, so let's go through the process, and we are all here to lend support to the family and to pray and hope for the best result.
Jaron's medical team will continue to monitor his health as the sessions go along. This medical care is an encouraging first step to the possibilities for other children with similar conditions. I'm Amadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
A donation was made to the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service Tobago Division by the U.S. Embassy of Trinidad and Tobago and the American Chamber of Commerce. They provided 12 electronic bikes to help boost the island's security response. Here's more in this story.
The U.S. Department of State Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement, through the U.S. Embassy Port of Spain, donated 12 electric bikes and one solar-powered electric bicycle charging station valued at US $61,200 to the TTPS Tourism-Oriented Police. The American Chamber of Commerce, Trinidad and Tobago, also donated a second charging station valued at US $9,000. Acting Commissioner of Police McDonald Jacob says the handing over of the 12 electric motorbikes coincides with the rollout of the Directed Patrol Policy as outlined in the TTPS Operational Plan 2020 to 2024.
The main districts in Tobago will be zoned for mobile patrols, and the grid system currently adopted by our Traffic and Highway Patrol branch in Trinidad will be replicated with adjustments which are unique to Tobago.
These e-bikes will assist the Tobago Division to patrol larger tourist destinations area more frequently and improve the incident response time.
This is a project to demonstrate what is possible and to highlight how the specific actions we take in our daily lives can reduce the footprint we leave on the environment. This project is also a chance to improve community safety for citizens and visitors.
Every little thing that contributes and goes towards making this place cleaner, safer, healthier, and to achieve that, making the police more present, more energized, more professional, more available to the citizens, particularly when we need you, is really refreshing to my soul.
According to Chief Secretary Honorable Fali Augustine, the tourism industry has been facing security threats such as terrorism and crime. So this donation is quite timely.
And not so long ago, I pointed out that the next fleet of vehicles we will be bringing in Tobago will be electric vehicles. I did not realize that it would be bicycles. But we are happy to have these bikes that are environmentally sound, that fits into our model of a green plant and green island, green tourism, a green economy. And we are happy that with these inputs, our officers will be able to discharge their duties much more efficiently.
And at the heart of this initiative is the Tobago Operational Center, which was opened in November 2021. ACP McDonald Jacob says the officers will now be equipped with an additional 20 body cameras and 80 more will be distributed at the end of July. I'm Crystal George for Let's Talk Tobago.
The National Gas Rebate Incentive Program was restarted by the THA's Department of Marine Resources and Fisheries several weeks ago. It's a refund incentive providing support to the island's fisherfolk. If you're in the fishing industry, find out how you can access your rebate in this next story provided by the Division of Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment and Sustainable Development.
We have restarted the gas rebate program on Tuesday the 31st of May. The aim of the program really is to provide an incentive for registered and active fisherfolk by returning a small percentage of the monies that they would have spent on oil and gas throughout the year. This is to encourage the progress of the industry. Receipts, invoices, bills for the purchase of gas and oil that would have been used specifically for the purpose of commercial fishing will be considered. The receipts must date from the 1st of January 2020 to present. Firstly, your engine must be registered. You need to bring in your boat ownership card, your fisherman ID, the receipt for the purchase of the engine, and your national ID. After that, the Fisheries Extension Officer will schedule a visit to your landing site where she will register your engine. You want to start that now?
Yeah, I think I get all the documents here. The extension officer that came and stamped my engine already.
Oh, so you did it already, this process already?
Yeah.
Now that you have registered your engine, you are ready to do the gas rebate process. You must be a registered fisherman and your fisherman ID must be valid, which means it is not yet expired. You must have a vessel registered in your name, and the boat ownership card must have your name, the name of the vessel, and the TFT number. You must also have a receipt of ownership or a letter of gift. Your form of photo ID, which is your national ID, your driver's permit or your passport, and it must be valid. Submit a proof of address. This is either a utility bill or a bank statement, and it cannot be older than 3 months. It must have your full name and your address. All the invoices from the gas station must be specifically for the purchase of gas and oil for commercial fishing. Seeing that your engine is over 40 horsepower, you can claim for 27,500 liters of gas per year, or 6,875 liters per quarter. And for oils, if the oil is mixed with fuel, you can claim at a rate of 1 gallon of oil to 8 gallons of fuel. And if the oil is not mixed with fuel, you can claim at a rate of 1 gallon of oil to 30 gallons of fuel. The good thing is, all the gas stations throughout Tobago have been officially informed, and they would have agreed to assist fisherfolk in completing the quota cards and the fuel purchase forms. If you have any further questions, queries, concerns, feel free to contact the department at 639-4446 or 639-4354.
The Department of Marine Resources and Fisheries is super excited about the relaunch of the gas rebate program. Fishermen have been made aware of the various criteria that needs to be met, and with an MOU with the gas stations around the island of Tobago, Tobago fisherfolk would soon be getting a gas incentive program re-established where they can now see returns on their sales. Fishermen, though the incentives may not seem like large numbers, still would be benefiting from 12 cents, 10 cents and 75 cents for gasoline, diesel and oil respectively. So the department looks forward to the continued collaboration with all fisherfolk, all associations and all persons influenced by the fishing industry in this program moving forward, and we wish for nothing but the best. It is time for a break, but when we return, we'll share with you the do's and the don'ts if you encountered the giant African snail. It's coming up next, right after this break. Stay with us.
Come, there we go to Tobago, that paradise, Bombay, Robinson Crusoe. And it is said, it's the land of tomorrow. Princess Margaret say, come to Tobago for holiday. Now the whole world say, come to Tobago for holiday. Smile, Larry, smile, Larry, smile in Tobago. That paradise, Bombay, Robinson Crusoe. And it is said, it's the land of tomorrow. Ronald Reagan say, come to Tobago for holiday. Now Bill Clinton say, come to Tobago for holiday. If you want a happy vacation, you can get it right here in my land. If you want a happy vacation, you can get it right here in my land.
Not all snails are created equal. In fact, some like the giant African snail can wreak havoc on the agricultural sector. It also poses a threat to public's health. In this next story, Omadara Mill shares why this is a potential problem for Tobago and some do's and don'ts when it comes to dealing with this type of snail. Take a look.
This piece of property at number 1 Lambo Orkinscure is currently under quarantine. That's due to the sighting of the giant African snail in the area. The snail species has been contained, but the area will be under surveillance for several years to ensure complete eradication. This is one of 3 reported locations in Tobago where the giant African snail has been sighted. The other 2 areas were successfully treated, but ongoing eradication efforts suggest that the presence of this pest is a serious concern for the public. Casey Marie Boucher-Koon, Plant Protection Specialist in the Division of Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment and Sustainable Development, explains why.
It's very prolific. That means it multiplies quickly and makes large amounts of young. In addition to that, it also is the vector of the rat lungworm, which can cause meningitis in humans and other ailments in domestic animals like dogs. The giant African snail, once the population begins to explode, easily becomes a public nuisance, as we have observed in the sister isle Trinidad.
The giant African snail is a deep reddish brown with cream and yellow longitudinal stripes along the shell. This snail eats more than 500 species of plants, including lettuce, pawpaw, and various herbs, so it can easily hamper the agricultural sector. Those who traverse between Trinidad and Tobago should be especially mindful. Carefully check the undersides of vehicles, since the snail can attach itself to the undercarriage. Casey Marie also has some advice on the kind of pesticides that can be used to eliminate the pest.
We ask that you take the additional precaution of treating your planting material with the active ingredient thiodicarb. This is a pesticide that is effective at killing snails and eggs. This pre-treatment before returning to the port to come back to Tobago will help us 100-fold in preventing Tobago from becoming overrun by giant African snail.
There are other methods of treating with this pest. The plant protection specialist tells us how.
If you should encounter the giant African snail, you should cover your hands, whether it be gloves or a plastic bag, before handling them, and place them in a salt or bleach solution. And that mixture is 2 cups of bleach or 2 cups of salt to 1 gallon of water. And you will drown them in that solution for a minimum of 24 hours. After the snails are dead, the best means of disposal is to contain them and burn them.
Eradicating the giant African snail is everyone's business, so early reporting and intervention is extremely important. This will help the Division of Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment and Sustainable Development eliminate the presence and threat of this snail on the island. If you're interested in joining the eradication team or want more information about the giant African snail, call the Plant Protection Unit at 482-7528. I'm Amadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
Tobago-born international professional football star Kenya Yaya Kodna is on a break after a long season in the Turkish Women's Super League. She made sure to give back to her community, the village of Speyside, by hosting a recent 7 versus 7 football tournament. Here's more.
The key to turning dreams into reality is action. Those words define the steps of Kenya Yaya Kodna as her dreams of making it as a professional footballer became a reality. Having made it to the professional level, Kodna returned to her home village Speyside recently to give back to her community. The talented Yaya, as she is fondly called, hosted her inaugural 7v7 football tournament for boys and girls under 17. And it was a success, according to Yaya. Kodna also did not hesitate to thank fellow villager turned Chief Secretary of Tobago, the Honorable Fali Augustine, for his support of the tournament.
It all started for me at the age of 6, right here in this Speyside recreational ground. If you turn your head and you look over to the hills, that was where my grandmother lived, where I grew up. So every Friday, Saturday and Sunday I will just leave home knowing that I have chores and go on the field and just kick rocks, bottles and sticks, because I didn't have a football then. And to grow into the footballer that I am today, I took it upon myself with some of my friends to come back and give back to the community at Speyside. The tournament on the whole ran smooth, everybody enjoyed themselves, I had positive feedback. Yeah, well, I would like to say thanks to Mr. Fali Agustin, because without him this tournament would have never been possible. And knowing that both of us is from Speyside and he came on board big time to help out with everything was really my heart.
Corner added that this tournament stemmed out of kids not having the opportunity to showcase their talents, and as such, she wanted them to know that their talents weren't going unnoticed. And out of this first tournament, opportunities will arise for talented youth from this island of Tobago.
In the years to come will be much bigger and better, because teams outside will want to take part, because from this last tournament that I had there, a team from Canada will contact me because they want to take part in the next one, which is next year, same time. We'll have scouts there to scout the talent of the older boys.
Chief Secretary Fali Agustin was also on hand to show his support for the tournament and encourage the youth that there is a lot of benefit to gain through the sport of football.
This facility, I want to congratulate you all for a job well done. Came to Speyside, you play hard, you perform well, and the benefit of this exercise is that I want you all to understand that there is a lot of room to progress and growth in football.
Connor also used the opportunity to leave some words of advice for the youth.
I always say sky has no limit, and once you believe in something, you go after it, you put your all in it, because there's a lot of people out there who will tell you that you're not good enough, and you have to say to yourself, I am good enough, and the opportunities is there, it's for you to go out and take it.
The tournament was held at the Speyside Recreational Grounds in Speyside. I'm Crystal George for Let's Talk Tobago.
Now, plants have various health benefits. We just have to understand how to use them. In this next story, we tell you about a seminar that gave Tobagonians greater insight into the medicinal purposes of different plants, including some herbs that are readily available. Here's more in this story.
Herbs and spices like rosemary, thyme, and nutmeg add flavor to many dishes, but they also have significant medicinal value. That was the focus of this Herbs and Spices seminar spearheaded by the Kendall Farm School. The two-day workshop saw just over 50 participants learning about the health benefits of various plants. Many of them found the course an eye-opener.
The knowledge of the medicinal purposes of those plants that we grew up with that we take for granted. Alright, stanfern is so powerful, but you just take it and you stamp it on your hand. You have a tattoo, an immediate tattoo, and that was fun when you was growing up, but you didn't know the real purpose of this plant. So it's interesting. This would be another way to deal with some of those illnesses without having those harsh side effects.
Once we put the knowledge to use, it can be very beneficial, not just for self, but so many people are suffering with all types of ailments, and more and more, as you were saying, doctors will give you remedy for the symptom, not the cause at times. These herbs will help us live longer and more healthier lives.
The sessions also included some practical elements as it relates to irrigating different types of medicinal plants. Technical Field Officer Potter Bruno gives some insight into that aspect of the course.
What I want to show them tomorrow, God willing, is how they could commercialize a venture like that. So I will be putting in an irrigation system on a bench using spaghetti tubes and spikes and stuff like that, right? On the outside there tomorrow, God willing, I want to lay down a drip irrigation system. Then we will plant according to where the drips are.
It's expected that the participants will put the knowledge into practice whether it's to start a business or to improve their health.
We would like to stimulate agribusiness in Tobago, right? Herbs and spices, something, as I would have mentioned before, we use every day, not just in our meals but also for medicinal purposes, right? Simple agro-processing like green seasoning, pepper sauces are things that we can stimulate, the public and empower them. It will stimulate small businesses within our communities, within Tobago on a whole. In so doing, we are going to promote revenue generation within our island.
This seminar was the first in a series of agricultural courses taking place during the July-August period. The other topics include water and drip irrigation, systems and techniques for water conservation, as well as ginger production. For more information, people can call the Kendall Farm School at 660-4395. I'm Amadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
So we have to take another break, but don't go away. Let's Talk Tobago. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Climate change is a hot topic issue, and countries like Trinidad and Tobago experience its effects a lot harsher than larger countries. Understanding this, the government continues to take steps to mitigate and adapt to the changes. In this next story, Omadara Mills has highlights of the discussions held with several stakeholders in Tobago. Take a look.
Continued global warming as a result of greenhouse gas emissions doesn't just mean a rise in sea levels, loss of land space, and damaged infrastructure along the coastline. It also has the potential to destroy our coral reefs and all that's with them. Impacts like these will have a ripple effect on our livelihoods and lives. So a Tobago-based sensitization session facilitated by the Environmental Management Agency, EMA, in collaboration with the Ministry of Planning and Development is timely. The discussions focused on ways in which the country plans to reduce its greenhouse gas emissions by a cumulative 15% in 3 sectors: power generation, transport, and industry by the year 2030. Stakeholders also learned about the agency's monitoring, reporting, and verification system. It's a digital data collection system where officers from the various THA divisions and environmental groups will put in information relating to factors such as fuel use and the amount of waste sent to the landfill.
Having this type of system, it ensures that Trinidad and Tobago is monitoring, reporting, and verifying the information based on international standards. It ensures that appropriate mitigation measures are being implemented in line with the Paris Agreement. It allows us to track any support we may receive in terms of like climate change policies or actions. A major one is it promotes reduction in greenhouse gas emissions, and it also allows for the collaboration of the entities involved.
The information gathered through the EMA's monitoring, reporting, and verification system will provide statistics for the country's national communication and biennial reports. The data collection will also inform climate change legislation that will be created in time to come. The country's actions in reducing our greenhouse gas emissions stem from commitments made at the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change and the Paris Agreement.
We need now to track these emissions and to design a system where we have to now comply with reporting obligations under the Paris Agreement, the so-called transparency reporting, because you now have to account to every other country in the world and the world at large as to what we are doing and why we are doing it and whether we are achieving it.
Close to 20 people participated in the consultation held at the Magdalena Grand Beach and Golf Resort. Some shared their thoughts on this kind of climate change awareness session.
Sessions like these are very insightful. It puts the technical stakeholders in a position to learn from each other while giving us the information we need to take back to our various areas of interest.
I think they're really excellent initiatives as part of the global community. We also are impacting
impacted by what is happening in the world, and we could make a contribution in terms of how to address the situation and mitigate against any deleterious effects.
It's hoped that there'll be continued collaborations among all the sectors in implementing the necessary climate change measures that will lessen the impact of greenhouse gas emissions and help us adapt to the changes in our climate. I'm Amadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
So we've come to the end of yet another edition of Let's Talk Tobago, and as always, we thank you for watching. Please email us with your comments or queries about the program, and be sure to visit our website, like our Office of the Chief Secretary Facebook page, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. From our house to yours, I'm Davia Chambers, along with the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly, wishing you a safe and a productive week.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers. It is just about 7 a.m. this morning, and we want to welcome you to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough. As we continue to give God thanks for life, I am Julian Ski.
And I am Rhea Richardson George, and this is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Good morning to Tobago, good morning Trinidad, those of you in the Caribbean and those of you viewing us on the live, good morning, good morning. Julian, it is Tuesday. I didn't see you yesterday. Of course, we were out. Candace was on live in Charlottesville.
In that, as somebody said to me, in that beautiful Candace outdoor energy.
That, mind you, has nothing to do with the first cup of coffee yet. All right.
So we want to thank Candace very much in terms of Charlottesville. I was not able to be up there early in the morning, Rhea, but I got up there, you know, in the evening time, and oh, what a beautiful time indeed. Charlottesville is always that gentle reminder, as I like to see, and you know, all those persons who know me in Roxborough, Delaford, etc., my love for the east side.
Definitely.
Oh, how I love the beautiful countryside.
That's right. Charlottesville does it for you.
And you know, I really want to commend the entire team up there in terms of what the feedback that I would have received. I followed, of course, via the Tobago updates in terms of what was happening, and then I got up there for what was more the social side of the events, the socializing and so on. Because you see, we have to cover the entire thing. I saw some of our cameramen in the mix and that kind of thing.
That's
it's
right.
important to cover the entire experience. Very important that. And I don't ever underscore anybody that knows Julian Skeet. You know, I want to thank that gentleman, and you know, that's just after you come off the field there. Bust up shirt, chicken, and you know, there were the other meats, and so I had to try it. I had to try.
Well engaged in Charlottesville.
Yes. I don't waste any time at all. Impressive at that. I even bounced up on it's a Lawrence Stewart, and I want to shout him out this morning. And this other gentleman that indicated to me, he says, boy, I'm watching all in Trinidad all the time, and
Wow.
I'm following the show. So, you know, it's a very good indication, and of course, it sent the signal that the Heritage Festival, and in particular Charlottesville, you know, Auntie Annette and all out there, Eastmans and the entire team out there in Charlottesville had really come together to do this kind of work, the village council, and so it's the kind of activity that you even come home for.
That's right.
So I come in when I'm abroad, I come in from Trinidad to spend that day in Tobago. So it's a very good signal, a very good indication, as is the common language now. Everywhere I've been for the last few days, we outside. We outside.
That's right.
Yes.
You know, as you commended the team, you know, there were minor hiccups, but certainly they did deliver. I saw on the live a lot of persons. Auntie Dora Lyons was locked on from beginning to end. Yes, Auntie Dora, I noticed you on the live because I was checking in from time to time. Of course, I was at work, but certainly good efforts again by Tobago Updates. So we congratulate the entire team.
And definitely, and you know, we look forward to it. And over the course of the weekend, you know, I would have also had the benefit on Sunday we had Capture the Flag. And I must say, proud past student of Scarborough Secondary. Should I say proud past students of Scarborough Secondary? And this morning I wanted to pull out in particular this photo that was posted by the alumni president, Kevon McKenna, and the entire team, because we are from as early as when Capture the Flag got started. There would have been a core team behind, along with the support of the school and so on. And this year we see the team on screen, and really want to send out commendations to them. Cassandra, Kashika, Keon, Rondell, Jarell. I haven't seen Lulu for a long time. I glimpsed her yesterday in Charlottesville. Lulu as well in the mix. And of course you have Kevon McKenna, alumni president, really doing an exceptional job. And as well, missing from the photo, we have Telly Tony, really doing an exceptional job. And I want to say commendations, because if I made the comparison to when Capture the Flag started, you know, there wasn't as much social media hitting back and forth happening. But when I got to the event, it was a gentle reminder that this event had already established itself in Tobago and on the Tobago calendar. Really, there was no park anywhere in the parade square was full in terms of vehicles. The regular parking was full. In fact, the officer even get vexed with me when I asked, is there any parking there?
Thinking you should know by now.
I should know by now. I should know by now. So that was really impressive, and I want to commend the entire team. I think it has been a while since we have seen so much out in the numbers. And what I really appreciated was I got the opportunity to connect with people who were there from Harmons, people I know from Signal Hill, people, I mean, almost every high school you could think about having persons there. I even connected with friends there from Bishop's High School. It was really a coming together in terms of a wide cross-section of Tobago being represented at Capture the Flag. Commendations to the entire team.
And I'm happy to hear accident-free, incident-free.
Yes, definitely, definitely. And then when I was wondering, going to Mount Pleasant for all the years supporting, I said, but where the lime going to be after? Because I can't fit in the stands. Don't worry, they had that covered as well. All right? They had that event covered as well. All right, so commendations again going out to Scarborough Secondary alumni there, and the hosting of yet the return, a successful Capture the Flag 2022. And I'd have a conversation with Makan, man. Oh gosh, he put me under pressure there. Makan, don't worry, all will be well, all will be well. You're going to go into preparations for 2023. All right? Congratulations again. And Scarborough Sec also emerged as the winner of Capture the Flag 2022. All right, viewers, at this point, we head on over to news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Julian and Ria. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Tuesday, 26 July 2022. Deputy Chief Secretary Watson Duke said plans are in place to ensure Tobago's heroes, like former President and Prime Minister Arthur N.R. Robinson, are not forgotten. He was speaking at Robinson's gravesite, where 1990 attempted coup survivor Wendell Eversley visits annually, pleading with government officials to recognize the traumatic time in the nation's history. Duke said all children in Trinidad and Tobago must be properly educated on Tobago's contributions to the development of the nation. Plans are already underway for Tobago-focused component in the school curriculum and for Tobago's heroes to be included in textbooks. Meanwhile, a budget for the Tobago Carnival scheduled for October remains outstanding, despite promises on July 16th from Tourism Secretary Tasha Burris. No information was released for the planned expenditure on Tobago Carnival. Speaking on the matter, Chief Secretary Farley Augustine explained the final figures are still being tweaked. However, he says it will not be exorbitant. Meanwhile, he stated the Carnival Committee continues to work with event promoters and Carnival stakeholders to avoid clashing events so everyone has the chance to maximize their profits. And for news nationally, Trinidad and Tobago faces a possible lawsuit from the government of Antigua and Barbuda. According to the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, Gaston Brown, their country sustained losses following the collapse of CLICO. There was an agreement with the government of Trinidad and Tobago to pay U.S. $100 million. U.S. $40 million was paid so far, but there remains a balance of U.S. $60 million. Brown wrote to the TNT's government several times, but to no avail. He hopes that now, with improved fortunes in the oil and gas industry, the outstanding bill can be paid without the force of legal action. And that was the news in 90 seconds. It is back to you, Rhea and Julian.
Thank you very much there, Candice, with the news. And as we have this close-up shot, I want to pay attention this morning to the combination in terms of, the top and blazer and so on. The colored mix, as I'm seeing on screen there, the pink, the green, in terms of the effects. Yes, folks, this is Checkpoint. I remember the Checkpoint located at Upper Main Street in Scarborough. We thank our Checkpoint for the continued support. It's one of our sponsors on board. You can contact them at 639-5148. That's Checkpoint located at Upper Main Street in Scarborough.
All right, and that's the fun side of Checkpoint.
Yeah. This kind of mix, and then, sometimes people only see the rigid side in terms of, formal shirts and so, but they really got a nice blend. And I didn't even mention, Rhea, I should have paused there for effect.
That's right. We needed to
patch
see
and all for the jacket, but we'll have to capture this in terms of it within the photo. Very nice in terms of the combination here this morning, again located at a Checkpoint. I also want to send out my commendations to the Secretary with responsibility for tourism and Assistant Secretary, Secretary Tashia Boris and Assistant Secretary Megan. Because I think I would have had the opportunity also to experience, we just had the opening and the Miss Heritage personality.
Right.
Excellent in terms of execution, and I want to go even further, speaking to the TPAC team, CEO Elvis Rajman and the entire team that would have been involved in terms of delivering. And when I saw Assistant Sec Megan, and I said to her, I said, long days, and she said, yes, you know me, up and involved in everything. And the energy and excitement of our Secretary Tashia Boris in terms of going along, to the extent that she said, I wasn't even sure what was going to come, because obviously the Assistant Secretary works more directly with culture, but we really saw an excellent execution happening there in terms of the team, and commendations indeed. And we're heading on in right now to birthday celebrations. Right. Birthdays.
So who do we have coming up?
We start off with Nielsen Lewis. Saw him up to yesterday, man, up in Charlottesville, Roxborough, man.
That's right.
So we want to wish Nielsen Lewis a happy birthday. Coming from the Tobago Updates family, and even coming from my family. That's my classmate, Rhea.
All right.
Out of Scarborough Sec.
I know him quite well. And this is Barbara Brebner celebrating her birthday. Sister Brebner, good morning. Happy birthday going out to you. And lots of love from the Tobago Updates family.
All right. And this is?
Quivalon Sandy, known to close family and friends as Lonnie. So love going out to you this morning, Lonnie. Have a great day. Happy birthday.
All right, and we have birthday shout-outs going out to Shirma Alexander. And this is one of those where I have to add in, some know her as Auntie. Auntie Shirma, certainly making an impact there in the education sector. Proud, outstanding teacher of Singer Hill Government.
That's
Congratulations and happy birthday. So that shout-out comes from Lavian as well.
And let me throw in here from Osazi. Osazi as well.
Lavian and Osazi and the entire Tobago Updates family wishing you a happy birthday, Shirma Alexander. All right, Rian, we head on into the rundown for this morning. Who do we have on the lineup this morning, Rhea?
Well, coming up, in fact, to start us off this morning, we will be chatting with Sheikh Hassan. And Sheikh Hassan is the Imam from Germantown Masjid out in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So he's going to be on the program this morning to chat with us on the Islamic solution for the ills of society.
All right, and we continue this morning, as I like to, I've said, excellent show, excellent production. We get the opportunity this morning to chat with Leanne Charles, Miss Heritage, Miss Tobago Heritage Personality 2022. And Rhea, I love the excitement with the fact that the times have long gone where you just see a Miss Heritage personality in formal settings. I saw her and I met her one-on-one in Charlottesville yesterday. All right.
And I'm sure you enjoyed that.
Certainly. And we look forward. We look forward to being able to interview and to chat with Leanne Charles, Miss Tobago Heritage Personality 2022.
All right. And then we're going to close things off this morning with Maudlin Francis, who is the owner of Lillian Fee? Lillian Fee? Lillian Fee. In fact, she'll tell us more about it, okay?
Right.
But she's going to be on the program this morning to chat with us on that business.
All right, excellent. So that's an idea of the rundown that we've got for you this morning, folks. Yes, it's a beautiful time. We are in that season of the Tobago Heritage Festival 2022. too. All right, and we want to thank you all so much for the continued love and support. Those of you joining us via TV, Gael and Emily TV, as well as those of you joining us via radio, that's Smash Radio and Street 91.9 FM. And those of you online with us, this is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning. This world is getting so cold.
The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorn's Place, with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorn's Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash in transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry, don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry, if your nice car get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry, don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry, if your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry, if sickness catch you off guard. I tell them never ever worry, if times fall on you real hard. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil will always be here for you.
Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning.
7:20 a.m. and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough. Beautiful outside view there, giving us that view in terms of in the vicinity of the port there in Scarborough. All right, viewers, at this point we welcome on set with us Sheikh Hassan, Imam Jumantown Masjid, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Welcome to Tobago.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. As we get started this morning, we going on the premise. You are in Tobago for a particular purpose. Having been here, the initiative would have taken place from last week. Let's start by telling us a little bit about that experience.
I've been to Tobago a few times. I think this is my 7th visit. Very hospitable. People are very welcoming. Community is small, but sometimes when you have small communities, you have tighter bonds and connections. So it was an Islamic seminar where the community learned to get closer to God. And that means to become better human beings. Because when a person knows that they're going to be accountable for their actions, it has an effect upon the way that they live. So it was very, very productive and very fruitful.
All right. Tell us a little bit about, today we're looking at the Islamic solution for the ills of society. Would you say that the pillars of the Islamic faith become very critical in guiding the individuals within the faith?
No doubt. I mean, in Islamic law, there are 5 objectives. The primary objective is preservation of religion. I think that if a person knows that they're going to be accountable before God, as I said, it's going to affect the way that they interact with others. In Islam, the fundamental of all fundamentals is to worship God alone and to not ascribe any partners to Him. And part of that is to believe in the last day as well, that we will stand before God and be brought to account for what we have done in this life. So if somebody has committed a crime, even if they escaped in this life, they're going to be accountable in the hereafter. And I think that has a very profound effect upon the actions of the individual when dealing with others.
So it's also been said, you know, sometimes we have challenges in society, and we say there are particular young men that seem to be give trouble and nobody can manage them, and then they are exposed to the Islamic faith, and you almost see what one would describe as a total turnaround in terms of now directing that energy, you know, with a greater level of discipline, a greater level of focus, development, and so on. What would you say contributes to that in terms of the experience within the faith?
Yeah, I mean, there's 4 others objectives as well. I didn't mention them all. One of them, preservation of life. The third, preservation of intellect, preservation of people's wealth, and the last, preservation of progeny or lineage. So when people learn about those type of things, obviously they're going to fulfill the rights of others better. We have many examples in the US where people, like you said, have gone to prison and totally reformed their life. I mean, we have in our community a number of people that have come home from prison after committing crimes, but they are example citizens and models for the community, helping Muslims and non-Muslims, you know, in life, because life is difficult. And as human beings, we like to be around one another, and we have to assist one another. So again, Islam is a religion of rights. As I said, rights of God, that we fulfill them, firstly and foremostly, and likewise rights of human beings. You have rights upon me whether you're Muslim or not. The neighbor has a right upon me. In the Islamic faith, the Prophet taught us, no true Muslim can go to sleep and their neighbor goes to sleep hungry. How is that the case? Because that person lacks a part of humanity.
Right. How do you deal sometimes with the challenge? And let me pose one of the questions coming in.
Yes.
Is Islam against criminal behavior? And if so, then why, why is it we find, for example, in Trinidad and Tobago, a number of gangs who profess to be Muslim? So they almost bring what is an association between criminal behavior and violence and trying to tie it in to Muslim. How do you respond to that?
I think criminality is criminality, and a criminal is a criminal regardless of what faith they profess. And like any other faith, you have, you know, pious people and you have impious people. You have good people and you have bad people. You know, any criminal, even if they ascribe to the Islamic faith, is a bad Muslim, for example. And I think if we're fair, if you look at other religions in the past, they've committed atrocities. I think the Pope is in Canada at the moment. He's apologizing on behalf of the Christians for the inhumane treatment of the children that attended those schools, and that's something that's taking place very recent now. Something that even people, you know, in the islands can all relate to. The crimes of the transatlantic slave trade. I mean, you had Christian scholars actually justifying that in the name of Christianity. So you have, as it relates to various faiths, you have people, you know, good people, and you have people who do not practice that faith. The same as the Islamic faith. You have people that practice it properly and people that oppose its teachings. There's no such thing as a good Muslim, you know, and you're robbing people. There's no such thing as a good Muslim and you're killing people. There's no such thing as a good Muslim and you're going around fornicating and being promiscuous. Those things, you know, are totally against the Islamic faith. And all somebody has to do is just read the Quran, you know, and read the lifestyle of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him.
And based on your experience, particularly out there in the United States, in more recent times, have you had found situations where you've had to stand firm to indicate that the faith is not about violence, the faith is not about this kind of negative influence, but we are here to support in terms of the growth and development of societies?
Yes, no doubt. I mean, in Philadelphia, one of the things, our community is recognized for its involvement in trying to improve the local area, you know, economically and likewise even morally, in terms of the conduct and the behavior of the people. I mean, we've invested in the community as well. We've bought properties, renovated those properties. We provide a school for the community. Likewise, we've just purchased a restaurant. There's apartment buildings. We've just purchased a convenience store and other buildings in the area to improve the living facilities for people in inner cities. I think if we look at crime, you know, there are a number of factors that lead to it. Poor education, poverty, you know, lack of opportunities, and these type of things. And I think that they're present in many communities all around the world. They're complex issues, and like I said, the people they see in our communities, that Muslims, you know, if we pull up our sleeves, we have, you know, many of the solutions that can address those ills that are present today in society.
If we're to make the comparison, and I know you've been here several times in Tobago,
yes,
you know, and this is where we put some of the others who behind the camera on spot just a bit. How would you describe the progress and the development in terms of Islam here within the Tobago space? Would you say that over your time, you know, it's meeting the objective and really expanding? You give us an idea. How would you describe it? Yes, this is your progress report now.
I mean, no doubt. I mean, Yusuf, you know, may Allah reward him, you know, has put a lot of effort in to inviting people, you know, his community. They've actually built a masjid. When I first visited, they didn't have a mosque, but they've built a mosque, and, you know, they've provided even jobs for the various community members. And he's well known, you know, in the community, even amongst Muslims and non-Muslims alike. I thought, you know, when walking with him, I thought he was the mayor. You know, people stopping, how are you, Yusuf? How's everything? And even last night, there was an incident. We was at the restaurant, because he has a restaurant, Skewers, and there was an elderly man, and obviously you could see that, you know, he's experiencing some challenges in life, you know, and he asked us for some food, and we were like, you know, speak to Yusuf, and he said, no, I'm going to leave Yusuf until later on tonight. So already, you know, he has a relationship where Yusuf is assisting him, I guess, through these difficult times, but definitely seeing growth, you know, good community relations. You see that there's a good understanding, and like I said, it's very welcoming, you know, and it's very inspiring to see this type of behavior in Tobago. And I think if other places in the world can see that the Muslims lived along non-Muslims, you know, for hundreds and hundreds of years, and there wasn't any problems. Rather, you know, whether Muslim, Christian, or Jew, or other than that, there was, you know, people were dealt with based upon, you know, principles of Islamic law, which the principle is fairness. There's a verse in the Quran, some of the companions, they said, that is the most comprehensive verse in the Quran, Inna Allah ya'muru bil adli wal ihsan, that God commands us with justice and good conduct. You know, justice when dealing with anyone. Justice firstly when it comes to God is to give the right of God to God, which is to worship Him alone. That's the basis. And then after that, to give everyone their due right. So Islam is a religion that has to be built upon fairness. If you see a Muslim and you find that that Muslim is, you know, unjust or oppressive or tyrannical, they represent themselves and not the Islamic faith.
And it's important to make that separation.
Yeah, you have to make that separation. You know, one thing, I think there's a level of Islamophobia, you know, in some of the media. When a Muslim does something wrong, it's highlighted, you know, Muslim gang, you know, or Muslim pedophile, you know, and we had it in the UK. What's Islam got to do with those filthy activities and those filthy behaviors? Nothing. Because when they're not saying now, you know, Christian massacre, you know, the Pope visiting in Canada and the likes of these type of things. So you see a level of Islamophobia, but like I said, in Trinidad and Tobago, I haven't experienced that myself.
And what's important, notwithstanding what may be sometimes the challenges that is afforded in terms of branding or giving a particular title, that there is still that level of commitment to the society.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about, because you see when persons go through the faith, that commitment is not only within, but there seems to be that obligation going beyond Muslims. So yes, I may have come in, just as we were speaking about before, with my challenges. I might have been a menace to society initially. And you assist in that Muslim faith in bringing the individual to you know, a greater level, a greater sense of responsibility. I want you to speak to that part, that where that individual commitment, and you know, I have one or two friends in that, and they always tell me that the commitment, when one gets to a more comfortable place in terms of knowing oneself, is not just true the faith and those who have helped, but you now have a greater responsibility to the society, to persons who aren't even Muslim. Tell us about that experience in terms of that kind of community support going beyond just the Islamic faith.
I mean, if the example in the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, many people embraced Islam just on the back of how he dealt with the orphans, how he dealt with the needy, how he dealt with the widow, how he dealt with the women, and so on and so forth. Some people will come to him and actually just monitor his behavior and see the way that he interacted with the people, and they were amazed by it, that he would feed the orphan, that he would aid the weak. And like you said, it's not about, you know, sometimes what you say, it's about what you do. There's a saying in Arabic, and it's in English as well, إِنَّ الْأَفْعَالَ أَحْيَانًا أَبْلَغُ مِنَ الْأَقْوَالِ, that your actions speak louder than your words on occasions. And people want to see what you are doing to improve society around you. And that's why, you know, in this time, I think one of the challenges that we have, especially with the systems that we find in the West, some politicians, you know, they say what is needed to be elected, not what is right. We need leaders to say what is right, even if it's against the sentiment of the majority. Because some of the problems that we're facing in the world, you know, some of them are complex problems. the dangerous thing about that is sometimes that creates an environment where you have demagogues, and that's what's happened in various elections around the world, no names mentioned, all over the place. And we need leaders that are going to be honest to the people. And sometimes being honest to the people, you're going to tell them things or make decisions that not everyone's going to agree with, but in the long term, they will find that it is correct and that's what is right. And one of those things is the family structure. A lot of the chaos that we find, whether in Trinidad or in Philadelphia or around the world, is because of the collapse of the family, the traditional family structure, where the father, maintained the household, made sure that the children were educated, assisted the wife was protected, the wife cooperates with the father. That can't be escaped. We never had these problems, maybe, some of the problems that we're facing today, that people are just going around killing people, like it's fun, 100 years ago. And one of the reasons for that is, again, because the collapse of the family structure. And I think, again, that a good Muslim is someone who fulfills the right of God, to worship Him alone, and also after the rights of God, to fulfill the rights of human beings. And Islam makes you a better human being. That's what it's about, right? Yes. Being better humans. And one thing, like you said, throughout my, time, whether it's as a teacher, or whether it's as an imam, I've found that, Islam, if somebody has good qualities, it improves upon them. If somebody is lacking certain qualities, it refines them. And even in America, even, for example, in the criminal system, Islam has prevented many people. One is transformed their lives. And we could have a whole show maybe with hundreds and hundreds of people coming from Philadelphia and sitting and telling you about their journey. But also, one of the things I found as well, even with regards to extremism, there's no doubt there's a problem when people are marginalized and people view that they have been oppressed. Any community that they could turn to certain trends that are not productive. But Islam, especially, upon the authentic Orthodox, way of the Salaf, meaning the disciples of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, it's preventing many people from extremism and joining extremist groups. But you don't hear, many people saying that, how we've helped to combat and stop people embracing. They only celebrate people that they've already gone down the road of extremism, and then they, for whatever reason, now they're no longer an extremist. Yes. I think the better, the most effective result is the ones who are prevented from the beginning, Yeah.
And I think that's definitely a solid way to close in terms of giving that reminder of what is that greater responsibility. So we want to say thank you to Sheikh Hassan, Imam Germantown Masjid, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, for joining us on set here this morning at the Tobago Updates Morning Show. Viewers, at this point, we head on over to the good stuff this morning. The good stuff this morning. And Tobagonian Makeda George is an employee of Delta Airlines. Makeda stated via her Facebook post, "Today's destination is the beginning of tomorrow's masterpiece. Almost 2 months away from home, sleepless nights, countless exams, countless drills, tasteless food, diversity, emotional breakdowns, and meeting people I would cherish till eternity. I can finally say I'm at the pinnacle of my career. I can now say I'm an employee at the #1 airline in the entire United States." And we want to congratulate this morning Makeda George, our very own Tobagonian there. And if you hear Rhea Offset, you know she goes crazy and she's on a high energy once you're speaking about the East. Congratulations again, Makeda George. Very proud indeed. Very proud indeed. All right, viewers, we want to thank you so much for the continued love and support for the Tobago Updates Morning Show. And this is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Come, there we go to Tobago, that paradise, bung by Robinson Crusoe. And it is said, it's the land of tomorrow. Princess Margaret say, come to Tobago for holiday. Now the whole world say, come to Tobago for holiday. Smile, let we smile in Tobago. That paradise, come by Robinson Crusoe. And it is said, it's the land of tomorrow. Ronald Reagan say, come to Tobago for holiday. Now Bill Clinton say, come to Tobago for holiday. If you want a happy vacation, you can get it right here in my land. If you want a
Excel Spa by Haley, where our highly trained staff are ready to deliver the top-class services in facial massages, waxing, nail enhancement and body treatment. We are ideally located at Coco Avenue, Susseland, Tobago. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TripAdvisor, or you can call us on 730-0149. Excel Spa by Haley. Relax, renew, and rejuvenate.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, morning. Viewers, welcome back to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. So it is Heritage Time, and we are privileged and honored this morning to be saying congratulations to Miss Leanne Charles, who emerged the Miss Tobago Heritage Personality 2022, and she's on the program with us this morning, so we're going to have a nice conversation with her. Leanne, congratulations to you. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
Let me get your thoughts. How do you feel at this point? It is, what, 2-3 days later. How are you feeling? How are you, I mean, the crown is on your head. How are you feeling?
I feel amazing. I still feel a flutter of electricity rolling through my body. I feel overwhelmed.
I wish I could say I understand, but I've never won the crown, never won a crown, but we're going to leave that there. All right. Now, Leanne, let's get right into things.
Yes,
it's, like I said, 4 days later. What are your thoughts on the entire competition itself, looking back on things now?
I must say I appreciate, the committee for allowing the girls and allowing me the opportunity to have different workshops provided. This is not just a personality competition, but it also assists with your development. And in reflecting, I feel like they did a good job at doing that, because most of the workshops aided me in different categories going forward.
All right. What is it that you know now that you did not know then? Just one thing that you learned, over the course of the preparation.
I learned to have faith. Before, I'm telling you, I was very, very, very frustrated, most times tired, because I'm a heritage baby. So I was preparing for opening night. So it was opening night production, then the Tobago Heritage Miss Personality competition.
Hold on, but let's put a comment there. You're a heritage baby, and let's explain that to our viewers this morning. Okay. You're a heritage baby, which means?
Which means at the age of 5, I was involved in the Heritage Festival, and at the age of 9, I first graced my big stage in Pembroke Salaka Feast. So every single year, this is how my heritage goes. It goes from opening night to Pembroke Heritage, and at that time, Belle Festival was fully functioning, so I would have lent my assistance in dancing to Belle Garden as well. So it will be a very hectic, what you would call heritage season for me.
All right, that's interesting. Now, let me let our viewers know here that you represented the village of Pembroke.
Yes, please.
And there is a perception, and let me put it out there, that there is a perception that once you represent Pembroke, that you are related to Jessie Taylor.
Okay.
Are you related to Jessie Taylor?
I am not related to Jessie Taylor, but I am related to the Berkeleys.
Okay, so the Berkeley blood runs in through you. All right, now your talent for the competition, you would have dedicated this to your grandmother.
Yes, please.
And I don't want to bring up any sad stories.
Right.
But very quickly here, just share with our viewers what prompted that.
On the 28th of April, my grandmother, Nona Berkeley, passed. She is a traditional dancer. She is now added to the ancestral lineage of Pembroke, and I saw this way as to honor her, and the best way I know how to is to use my talents. You know, when I was a little girl, every evening coming home from school, she would sing these songs, folk songs. She will even do oral traditions with me. She will even do the tribes of Pembroke in which we practice, Congo, Igbo, Coromante, Manding. And she would sing and she will have me dancing. And she's one of the persons who is responsible for my cultural upbringing.
All right, now we just had some footage there up on the screen. So you're very fluent in dance as well.
Yes, please.
All right, she said yes, please. Okay. All right, so Granny was the one who, you dedicated your dance to. Looking back, what do you think you could have done differently? I mean, you won the crown. If you had a chance to do it all over again, what would you do differently?
I think I would say more practice.
How much more could you have gotten in
more
this short
practice.
time?
I don't think, looking back at my tape, knowing myself, knowing the standard that I would have set, knowing I come from the Tobago Performing Arts Company, which I'm a resident dancer, I know I could have done better at my execution, although persons were saying, it was really good, your execution was really good. But I think I'm a hard critic of myself.
And give me a quick idea here. What was the story behind your dance?
The talent, per se, it was in honoring those women before who would have been instrumental in the upbringing of my aunt, Karen Berkeley Charles, the upbringing of those persons, Diane Reed and Darcel Kirk, and all those persons from Pembroke. What we tried to do was to honor them, and still living, Henrietta Murray Tantiliota, who is the dirt ovenist extraordinaire, the village baker.
Yes. Dirt oven extraordinaire.
She balances a tray on her head and she's still alive. Those persons who have gone before us, Tante, the only Tobago drummer and tambouriner, female that is. We have Adina Davis, which is known for in the Congo dance. So we try to highlight those women who would have been instrumental to our dance, development in dance.
All right. So what is next for you?
What is next for me, Ria? That is a very interesting question. Right now, because the competition has taken a turn for a village project in which the sponsor will give you $25,000 to create a village project, and right now my only aim is to try to activate that village project. It's called Project Saved, securing adolescent voices to engineer development. This is an empowerment hub which touches on all the areas such as culture, education, environment, sport. Because what we see coming out of the community of Pembroke is that we boast that we are so cultural, but then there are social ills that plague all of us. And how do we assist those youths to be developed holistically?
All right, so it's not just focusing on the cultural aspect.
No, please.
But a holistic young person coming out of Pembroke.
Yes.
All right. Who are those persons that you like to say thank you to? I mean, you didn't do this on your own. You did not put all of this together and get on the stage to walk away with the crown all on your own.
Yes,
so tell us about those support. Who was your support?
So I had a team for every single area. I had a team for interview. I would like to give thanks to Davia Chambers, Khalifa Hislop, my gong, Darcel Kirk, Odette Jack. I would also like to shout out my chaperone and the person who was responsible for directing my talent, Oshun Trim, who have worked tirelessly over trying to allow me to be calm. Even times when I was frustrated, she was my strength at that time. I want to give special thanks to Karen Berkeley Charles, my aunt, and also Quintin Wilson, my cousin, who is the drummer.
All Right. Seems like an entire family affair that happened there on that night. Well, Leanne, congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
And I'm hoping that within the year of your reign that we will be able to check in with you, see how your project is going.
Of course.
You know, see what it's been like for you. Because
yes,
as much as it seems as though it's a bed of roses, I think it's a lot of hard work.
It's a lot of hard work.
Definitely. Well, all the best to you.
Thank you.
All right. So, viewers, lots more coming up on the program this morning. So we invite you again to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Excel Spa by Haley, where our highly trained staff are ready to deliver the top-class services in facial massages, waxing, nail enhancement and body treatment. We are ideally located at Coco Avenue, Switzerland, Tobago. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TripAdvisor, or you can call us on 730-0149. Excel Spa by Haley. Relax, renew, and rejuvenate.
There we go to Tobago, that paradise, bung by Robinson Crusoe. And it is said, it's the land of tomorrow. Princess Margaret say, come Tobago for holiday. Now the whole world say, come Tobago for holiday. Smile, every smile, every smile. In Tobago, that paradise, bung by Robinson Crusoe. And it is said, it's the land of tomorrow. Ronald Reagan say, come Tobago for holiday. Now Bill Clinton say, come Tobago for holiday. If you want a happy vacation, you can get it right here in my land. If you want a happy vacation, you can get it right here in my land.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
On here with the Tobago Updates Morning Show. A beautiful and interesting interview there with Miss Leanne Charles, and we continue on the discussion this morning as we chat with Maudlin Francis, who is the owner of Lily Faye.
Lily and Faye.
Lily and Faye. That's right. Let's put in the and. Lily and Faye. And this morning, Maudlin is going to tell us all about Lily and Faye. Maudlin, good morning and welcome to you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
A pleasure indeed. Now, give us an idea here. When we talk about Lily and Faye, what was the genesis? Give us the story behind, starting this business.
Well, Ria, as a woman, I was very dissatisfied with the traditional options that were available. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to change that. I wanted to create a company that was, female-owned, that was catering to women, that would help them to have stress-free experiences, right, by giving innovative products that gave them invisible protection. Not only that, as a mother of 2 girls, I wanted to create something that would last, something that would create a positive impact for them as well. So when we look at United Nations Sustainable Goals for 2030 and the way the world is going, we're moving towards creating businesses and entities that, you know, take care of our environment, that make that positive impact as well. So that's what I wanted to do with my company.
All right, so tell us about some of the products of the company, because I know time is limited, but we've got to get right into this. Tell us about some of the products, these products that you have created to save the planet, to, you know, ensure that, you know, the carbon footprint, you know, is secured. Tell us.
Okay, so what we did was to create alternatives to the traditional options that are there for period care.
Right.
So
and when we say period care, we're talking menstrual care.
Yes, we're talking menstrual care. So for our tampon girls, we have our menstrual cups.
Right.
Right. And for our girls who prefer the sanitary pads, we have menstrual panties.
All right, let's get right into the menstrual cups.
Yes. So our cups come in 3 sizes.
And I'm hoping we can get a nice close-up shot of that, right?
So they come in small. They come in medium.
Right.
And they come in large.
Right.
And your age and your flow will determine which size that you would use.
So recommended, the small cup would be recommended for whom?
For teenagers, for first-time users, those with a low cervix, under the age of 25, they would use a small cup.
All right, question here. I know there was some issues concerning tampon use and young girls who were virgins. How does that compare?
Well, I think that it's important to understand that in terms of virginity, it's a matter of having sexual intercourse.
Right.
Right. We also want to mention that the hymen is a muscle.
Right.
Right. So oftentimes we think of it as like some structure there that rips or tears, but it's a muscle. So it's not really impacted, depending on your physiology, of course, by the use of tampons or menstrual cups.
Okay. So did we see 2 colors there, pink and purple?
Yes.
Are those the only 2 colors that they come in?
Yes, those are the 2 colors that we carry.
So tell us how this works now.
Okay. So oftentimes we have the question, where?
How do I get that up?
Yes. So it's all about the fold, right? So there are many different ways to fold, and folding would create a small incision point.
Right.
Right? It's placed inside, it collects the fluid. When it's filled, you pop it out, you empty, you clean, and you reinsert. When your period comes to end, you would sanitize it and put it away for the next period.
Okay, the next period as in the next cycle.
In the next cycle, yes.
Okay, so this is interesting one. Now we're going to come back to that, but show us the second item that you've got as well.
Okay, so for our girls who prefer sanitary napkins, we have our menstrual panties. And these offer, like, they're super absorbent, right? They have a capacity of twice your ordinary sanitary napkins. And they're designed to give you protection. So we start with the high gusset in the front that extends all the way up to the waistline at the back. So you're really, really protected. It's also engineered so that you prevent side leakage. We have 4 layers of protection. So there's one that wicks moisture away from the skin.
Right.
There's another that absorbs. The third one prevents leak through, and then you have the panty itself.
Okay, and that means that it prevents leakage front, back, and sides.
Yes.
For those who are wondering.
And all the way through.
All the way through. That's very true. And these are real life situations here that women have to deal with every single month.
Yes.
Now, I want to ask a question here. Toxic shock syndrome. Some of the sanitary pads that we grew up with, I don't know, I'm just within my 40s or so, probably older than you are. But when I was growing up, we had the issue of wearing that sanitary napkin for too long and causing toxic shock syndrome.
Yes.
How does the what do you call it, the pad?
Menstrual panties?
The menstrual panties. How do the menstrual panties compare with the sanitary pad in terms of keeping you dry, keeping you free from the toxins from
shock
the
syndrome.
from the pad.
Okay, so I'll actually answer for both products because this is one internally, so that's a question that's often asked for this as well.
Right.
So we find that unlike other products, this doesn't absorb, it just collects.
Right.
And so once you maintain proper hygiene, you're not going to have toxic shock developing because you don't have that absorption. Right?
Can I feel it, please?
Yes, you can.
Oh, it feels okay. The rubber is interesting.
It's actually medical grade silicone.
Right.
Yes. And for the panties, it's made of a bacteriostatic material so that you don't have bacterial growth taking place.
Okay. Very interesting. And how can persons contact you to get their hands on these products? Women and men can also buy them for their wives.
Yes. So we are on all your social media platforms. We are on Facebook at Lily and Fee. We are on Instagram at Lily and Fee. We also have our own website at lilyandfee.com, and you can reach us via phone at 463-5305 or 729-2962.
All right. Well, we're going to just pause for a quick pause here because we've got Tobago Notes coming up. So we're going to head into that, but we want to thank you so much for chatting with us on these products. And of course, ladies, I'm saying here, this is a must. This is the way the world is heading. So maybe we're going to get away from those pads. You know, we're going to get away from those and move into a new direction. So we head over now into Tobago Notes.
The U.S. Department of State Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement, through the U.S. Embassy Port of Spain, donated 12 electric bikes and 1 solar-powered electric bicycle charging station valued at U.S. $61,200 to the TTPS Tourism-Oriented Police. The American Chamber of Commerce, Trinidad and Tobago, also donated a second charging station valued at US $9,000. Acting Commissioner of Police McDonald Jacob says the handing over of the 12 electric motorbikes coincides with the rollout of the Directed Patrol Policy as outlined in the TTPS Operational Plan 2020 to 2024.
The TTPS will activate all the various patrol mechanisms, even in Tobago. The active directed patrols will be implemented in Tobago this month. The main districts in Tobago will be zoned for mobile patrols, and the grid system currently adopted by our Traffic and Highway Patrol branch in Trinidad will be replicated with adjustments which are unique to Tobago.
These e-bikes will assist the Tobago division to patrol larger tourist destinations area more frequently and improve the incident response time.
This is a project to demonstrate what is possible and to highlight how the specific actions we take in our daily lives can reduce the footprint we leave on the environment. This project is also a chance to improve community safety for citizens and visitors.
The Ministry of National Security's business is the business of public safety and security. So this is like water upon my soul. Clean, cool, clear running water. Every little thing that contributes and goes towards making this place cleaner, safer, healthier, and to achieve that, making the police more present, more energized, more professional, more available to the citizens, particularly when we need you, is really refreshing to my soul.
According to Chief Secretary Honorable Fali Augustine, the tourism industry has been facing security threats such as terrorism and crime. So this donation is quite timely.
And not so long ago, I pointed out that the next fleet of vehicles we will be bringing in Tobago will be electric vehicles. I did not realize that it would be bicycles. But we are happy to have these bikes that are environmentally sound, that fits into our model of a green plant and green island, green tourism, a green economy. And we are happy that with these inputs, our officers will be able to discharge their duties much more efficiently.
Honorable Augustine is urging the officers to take their responsibility seriously, as their roles are vital to the development of the tourism sector in Tobago.
Not just to drive around the place, speed around the place, pose off and look nice and take pictures for social media, but it's about enhancing our interaction with the visitors. In fact, you are part of our exchange to the rest of the world.
And at the heart of this initiative is the Tobago Operational Center, which was opened in November 2021. ACP McDonald Jacob says the officers will now be equipped with an additional 20 body cameras, and 80 more will be distributed at the end of July.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show. Never a dull moment here. Such a beautiful morning indeed. And you know, that's the kind of interview, and we really want to commend Miss Francis. It's the kind of interview that had Rhea Richardson George in a spirited kind of mood. Good morning to you as well, George. Love and respect, my brother. Rhea, are you okay?
I am. Never a dull moment indeed, Julia. Never a dull moment indeed.
Certainly conversations this morning connecting with our Miss Tobago Heritage personality. Also chatting with the owner. Rhea, what's the pronunciation now? It's Lily and Faye?
Lily and Faye.
Lily and Faye. So the connection with Lily and Faye, and also speaking about the Islamic solution for the ills of society, and chatting with Sheikh Hassan, Imam Jumantong Masjid, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. All right, and at this point, viewers, we head on over to that photo back in the day, giving you that historic perspective here. Where is this located? Where is this located? Tobago back in the day. All right, and we're trying to make that connection, viewers. This is your opportunity to connect with us on the live in order to give your suggestions, to give your feedback. Where is this location?
Julian, I'm getting some information, but wow, I am in shock at where this possibly might be. I was thinking at first Lambo, but the hills in the background would suggest otherwise.
All right,
Do you have it?
No, I see a coconut tree. That looks like boats there, right? Out of the water. I think the one time I tried to guess it, I was too far off. So we're going to invite our viewers on the live. Feel free to submit. Where is this in Tobago? We give some shout outs to Selma Lashley. Hey, Andrea McMillan, Ina Anthony, Ula B, Carol Skeet, QQ Melville, Carol Fraser Davidson, Lisa James. Shout outs to each and every one of you. All right, so it seems like our viewers are not sure where this is either.
No, okay, so they may be interested to know, Julian.
Let me give way, drum roll. Yes, Rhea.
That this is East Tobago, far East Tobago, Charlottesville to be exact. Charlottesville. Some people love to say Charlottesville. It's Charlottesville. All right, so this is Charlottesville of old. Wow.
Wow, certainly there I would not have guessed it. I'm trying to think of the angle that this covers. And Bruce Wayne now jumped in and indicated Seville.
Yes, and I want to believe, if we can go back to the picture very quickly, right around where we see the coconut tree, that would be sort of in the vicinity of where the jetty now stands.
Okay.
Because that house that we're seeing there, that looks like where is now known as Schulzen's Chalet.
Yes,
the Nicholson owned property.
Yes,
I could be wrong, but from what I'm seeing here, Yeah, that looks like it. That looks very much like it. So
excellent in terms of that connection there with the Seaville area. Certainly getting a glimpse of before. You know what I mean.
And Akima Thomas has it correct as well. She says Seaville. Yeah, thank you, Akima.
All right, certainly making that connection there. Viewers, we want to thank you so much for the continued love and support here for the Tobago Updates morning show. You continue to look out and to connect with us over the Tobago Heritage Festival celebrations. All right, it's only one team that's there for you. That's the Tobago Updates team, and thank you so much for that continued love and support. As someone says to me, Ria, Leonard just have to get a notification or they go on live, and there's something I have to look at. So thank you so much for that love and support, those of you right here in Tobago, those of you in Trinidad, the region, and the world at large.
All right, but we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us today. And remember, Tobago Updates is going to continue to give you the live coverage of everything heritage, Tobago Heritage 2022 related. All right, so like Julian said, just listen out for the notification and we'll be on. All right?
We're on. All right, bye-bye for now. Just remember to have fun because we're outside.
That's right.
As you can.
All right, and we're heading over to GMT with Candace. So have a great day, Tobago. Remember to stay safe, wear your mask, yes, sanitize, and still socially distance.
And she's in studio with us today.
That's right.
All right, heading on over to GMT. Bye-bye, folks.
We are beauty, we are power. We are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers. We are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying. Tobago is number one. I am you and you are me. Together we're stronger. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, yeah. Hey. Tobago updates. Na 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 na. Good morning, Tobago. It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power. We are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers. We are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying. Tobago is number one. I am you and you are me. Together we're stronger. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, yeah. Hey. Tobago updates. Na 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 na. Good morning, Tobago. Na 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 na. Wake up with Candace and Danasia. Let's go, go. It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power. We are people in the sun. We are beaches.
Good morning, Tobago on Tobago Updates, your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad, and the region. With the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine, I am Candace Jackson, and let's get started with the news in 90 seconds. Deputy Chief Secretary Watson Duke said plans are in place to ensure Tobago's heroes, like former President and Prime Minister Arthur N.R. Robinson, are not forgotten. He was speaking at Robinson's gravesite, where 1990 attempted coup survivor Wendell Eversley visits annually, pleading with the government officials to recognize the traumatic time in our nation's history. Duke said all children in Trinidad and Tobago must be properly educated on Tobago's contributions to the development of the nation. Plans are already on the way for a Tobago-focused component in the school curriculum, and for Tobago's heroes to be included in textbooks. Meanwhile, a budget for the Tobago Carnival scheduled for October remains outstanding. Despite promises on July 16th from Tourism Secretary Tashia Burris, no information was released for the planned expenditure on the Tobago Carnival. Speaking on the matter, Chief Secretary Fali Augustine explained the final figures are still being tweaked. However, he says it will not be exorbitant. Meanwhile, he stated the Carnival Committee continues to work with event promoters and Carnival stakeholders to avoid clashing events, so everyone has the chance to maximize their profits. And now for some national news, Trinidad and Tobago faces a possible lawsuit from the government of Antigua and Barbuda. According to the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, Gaston Brown, their country sustained heavy losses following the collapse of CLICO. There was an agreement with the government of Trinidad and Tobago to pay US $100 million. Only $40 million was paid so far, but there remains a balance of US $60 million. Brown said he wrote to TNT's government several times, but to no avail. He hopes that now, with improved fortunes in the oil and gas industry, the outstanding bill can be paid without the force of legal action. And that was your news in 90 seconds. And of course, we here at Tobago Updates, we continue to be talking about the Tobago Heritage Festival because we are in this time where we are celebrating everything that is Tobago. It's a wonderful time to, to reflect and to, just celebrate who we are as a people. And I mean, we have Mr. Jesse Taylor on with us again this morning. And Mr. Taylor, it's so great to have you on for these conversations every day as we're going through the various events of the Tobago Heritage Festival. So, good morning and welcome to you to the show again.
Good morning, Tobago, and to all listeners, viewers, wherever you are. It's indeed a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me, Candice.
All right, great. So, we are on Monday now of the Tobago Heritage, Tuesday. I'm getting my days mixed up. I mean, it's been a long, it's been long. It's been a lot of work, right? We've been out there, but I mean, we've had a lot of events. We've had
the opening night.
We had the opening night on Friday. We had Juve. We had the Queen Show. Northside Passion. Yesterday was Charlottesville. How are the events going so far?
Well, I must say that there has been such a high increase in the participation. The attendance has been quite good. I think I'm coming out of what we call the COVID period. There has been renewed and indeed re-energized set of people who are very interested in what we have been having. And this has been evident the support that we've been having at the shows and all the things that are nice is been presented after 2 years of not being able to actually have what we normally would have had as oral expressions up front and in person. I think that people are happy to be out and about and it's showing, so it's good.
Yes,
the activity is good.
On that point, I mean, if we were in Charlottesville yesterday, then you would have seen the amount of people.
Yeah,
and I think, I mean, I might be wrong, but is this the most set of people that we've seen in Charlottesville for Heritage?
Well, arguably it could have been, but Charlottesville has been, Miss Annette Alfred and her team has been able to, year after year, bring it. And,
Certainly.
She has been able to deliver with the team, and we were fortunate to take our Heritage on the road to her. And I could have tell from the very onset that what they would have been presenting would have been something really good, really natural and really treasurable. And again, we continue to aid in whatever way we can by providing support from our unit. Our drum tutor, Dominic Williams, was one of the persons here tutoring with the drums.
Yes.
So we had people who have been with us around doing tutoring in dance, and then Miss Alfred brings with her that age and experience that certainly we cannot go without, because she's one of the knowledge bearers that continues to lead the way, and that's great.
And then one of the wonderful things about yesterday in Charlottesville was that of seeing the amount of young people that's getting involved in getting involved with the heritage performances, whether it be dance, drums, the acting out, you know, whatever it was.
Yeah, but
We're
Candice,
seeing
that's
a lot of young
important.
people.
And that's what the division we strive for, that the intergenerational transfer of the knowledge, because as you know, the children and the youth are the bedrock of what the civilization would look like tomorrow, and that's why the junior heritage is so very important to us and to me. For years, over a decade, it has not been practiced, and what we are seeking to do and have been doing by taking the heritage to the people is ensuring that we develop the interest and that we kind of show the children and the youth what their potential could be, where they can make a difference, how they could contribute to not just the culture, but how they could use it for sustainable development, and that's important. How do we monetize these things that we have, and how do we create new jobs out of for our innovators and creators, those people who are especially gifted, talented? How do we provide the platform? And that's what the Junior Heritage will do and is seeking to do on Thursday the 28th when we go to the Shore Park Complex for our Junior Heritage Festival Day.
And then we'll just get about to get into that conversation about the junior heritage, and just for the sake of the viewers, to explain, you know, what are the plans for the junior heritage, what would it look like, and what can they experience?
The junior heritage operates under the theme Ancestral Flames, Rebirth of a Nation, because we recognize that some of our youth are going slowly towards other things that include modernity and technology, and that's fine. But we are trying to create fan the flame, so to speak, to spark interest. So the junior heritage is about teaching, is about enriching the use of our culture. It's not formally taught in schools anywhere in the island. So we are on the social stratus where we are telling the children, this is what your forefathers used to do, this is what your grandparents and great-grandparents, this is the legacy that they have left us, and truly it is becoming more and more beautiful. So on Thursday we'll have several things. We'll have culinary expressions where we would do how it used to be done. How would you have done the bake that they no longer seem to appreciate or like or care for? How was it done on the outside? How did you prepare other things on using ancient method? We'll be introducing the use of how fudge was done, the coconut fudge that you just see. How was it done? So we're having tutoring in that. We also be doing the traditional tools. What was a grater? What it takes to take the nail, pound the grater, get the grater, a swizzle stick. How did those things impact on the lives that our grandparents used to have? We'll be having head wrapping session. We'll be doing folk music and dance and drama, and we'll be doing some carnival elements with some of our traditional characters, the Mokojambi and the Damlarine and the Fancy Sail and those kind of things. What is interesting is that on the evening we will be having Little Miss Heritage, and that's going to be something to look forward to, because we have 12 children who are the schools and youth groups and communities. They are challenged to make this creation that must consist of brown cotton and must utilize by local products, upcycled products, recycle things. So we are learning how to love and appreciate the environment and to place tourism in the center of that. And how do we use what is considered to be trash?
Yes.
Because the thing is, our children are the future. And we need to do like Whitney Houston said, teach them well.
And then if there is to be more Tobago Heritage Festivals in the future, we need our young people to learn.
So like today, you've had proudly from the village that I hail Miss Pembroke as the reigning Miss Heritage personality. We must create a bed, an expressionary forum, so that people can see themselves walking in the shoes and the heels of these people who have gone before.
All right, and then another part of the Tobago Heritage Festival that is going to be ongoing all week is that of the micro market in the FCB car park in Scarborough.
Yes.
So just want you to tell me a little bit about that.
We started this setup over the weekend, and people began loading in their stuff. Various people who variety of other stuff that COVID would have crippled, if not brought to some extent extinction, some of what they do. So the micro market is a taste of Tobago in Tobago that allows one to be able to sample those things that are considered rare but are also delicious Creole style, traditional style. Later on in the week, we should be having some homemade style bread and traditional food and conchs and those crab and those things that you would not would not have been seeing out as it could have been. So it's as an opportunity for economic development and growth, and certainly our island needs the revenue, and we do have quite a few people, both domestic and regional and international on the island. So it's a good platform for those persons who are here for this week leading up into the weekend to be able to sample those things. So we encourage all of you to come out to the micro market, which is in the Old First Citizens Bank car park, starting from 10 o'clock until Friday.
All right, and I want you to tell me a little bit about the inspiration and the thinking behind having that market situated in Scarborough.
Well, it was actually one of the brainchild of the secretary, Sasha Burris, who I would say, coming out of the success that we've had in Trinidad when we did the micro market in June that supported TPAC's bitter cassava production at Queen's Hall, we recognized that the partnership between all the elements that were crucial to it worked in Trinidad, and it also was open door and an opening for many of our islands, people who are into soul trade and who are entrepreneurs in their respectful rights. And it was a pleasurable thing to see even Paula May Weeks, who is the president of the island, coming in to buy stuff from our local artisan. And there were so many people who supported it from Trinidad who were not able for one reason or the other, and give COVID also to be in Tobago, to patronize, to have the drink a morbi, to see how the cassava was done, the cassava products made, the things that we eat, and how they were impressed by the standard. And certainly if we're talking tourism, then we are talking how we do trade on the island, how we be the catalyst or the people who come in and be able to experience what we have in our island, on our island, and as the Chief Secretary would say, to make Tobago the greatest of the island on the planet.
All right, certainly. And I mean, so now we're going through every day. We've gone through several days, at least 5 days.
Yes, and it's a lot.
It's been a lot. Yes. I mean, like I said, it's been a wonderful time as well, you know, just getting reacquainted with the Tobago Heritage Festival and, you know, those things that we hold near and dear to our hearts on this island. But I want you to tell me, you know, a little bit about what have stood out to you so far at the event. What has been your favorite moment? I mean, we heard from Mr. John Arnold yesterday, and he stated that, you know, for him it was the Miss Heritage Personality Show and the innovation and just the creativity that came out from our young women.
Yeah.
So,
well, I would say I would have to trade what I've seen so far was the opening night and the Queen show, which to me kind of were parallel to each other. Because the opening night, you were able to see so many young people, so many gifted people in the areas of drama and dance and theater. I think what we were able to see is a higher standard of presentation and utilizing what I always would like to say is blending our science with culture. And I saw that high great kind of presentation that tells us that we are developing as an island and as a people. And that was supported by what you saw, because this year the girls who participated in the pageant were of an older bracket, because you could have been right up to 40. So I think that there was a level of more professionalism because they were more experienced and people were driven. So the support was shown by family, grandparents and aunts and uncles. So I think that accounted too for what was in the audience.
And we've seen some images here.
Naturally, so you see costumes, the grade of acting, the projection, the dialect. I think that it's saying to us that we can market what we have throughout the world, for the world. And I hope that that's the direction that we are heading.
And for those that love to say that, you know, the Tobago Heritage Festival is sort of mundane and over the years has become repetitive, I mean, can we say now that there is something different and something bigger and better than what we've experienced in the past?
Yes, certainly the efforts. I think because a lot of the people of Tobago has invested in the creative ecology, so they have gone to school. So a lot of people are now certified, qualified. They have done the work, they have practiced the work, and now they are certified. So they are approaching it with a level of professionalism that is encouraging to all. Because as I said before, monetizing what we do is very important to sustain what we do, because a lot of what we do requires a lot of money and a lot of resources, both capital and human. So we have to ensure that what we do doesn't shoot us in the foot, that we are still able to strike the balance between what is our history and how we use our history to move the people forward and to move the economy as a whole to a place where it's sustained by not just public support, but private sector as well.
Do you think that the COVID-19 pandemic had any role to play in that awakening of that talent and, you know, that drive that we're seeing, that passion that we're seeing now?
Most definitely. I saw that in every aspect. When we went to the Heritage on the Road, people, we were just supposed to have done a few, and then it just grew. It grew, and it just kept growing, because I think because you couldn't practice, and then whilst the online virtual experience was okay, this that we have been doing for now 35 years really required us to be able to do it in a way that we are up close and personal and still be able to leave room for the interaction. And what we do largely requires us to be right up and in front of one another, touching one another, really expressing ourselves in the traditional ways. And because we couldn't practice that, a lot of what we hold there, and even at some point in time thought was mundane or wasn't what we would want to do year after year, we now have a greater appreciation for it. So COVID in its one place was indeed a blessing in disguise.
Certainly. And now, I mean, so we're looking forward to the Junior Heritage Festival, the Junior Heritage part of it. And I just want to give a little bit of details of the times so people can come to, as well as for the micro markets.
Great. So we start at, for the Junior Heritage, we start at 9 a.m. in the morning, which will give us 9 to 12. We'll take care of our interactive and immersive session in the first 10. Then we break for lunch, and then we also have, what I didn't say is that we are having a new element which is called our Tobago Heritage Science Project, where people under the age of 18 was challenged to create a tourism culture model using some kind of science to bring it to life. And so we do have the judging of that, and then right after that we will be having the interactive session that requires dance, drum music, Afro-Caribbean music, and then we culminate with the little prestigious Little Miss Heritage personality, which we are calling our cherished legacy, and that should bring the curtain down on the Junior Heritage in its first manifestation. The Junior Heritage Queens will be judged on Emancipation Day as part of the Emancipation Day celebration in Stormy and the Heritage Park. Micro Market opens each day from 10 right up until the evening, just about 6-7 o'clock, and it continues until Friday. And like I say, you're all invited to join. It's open all day. Come in, get your food, get your craft, buy your accessories, get your jewelry, you know, and be exposed to some entertainment, some heritage stuff, and make Tobago the place, the hub that is certainly going to be. Okay. We're leading the way, and we continue to keep doing that.
And on that note, I just want to remind you viewers that Tobago Updates continues to have you covered. Yes. The Tobago Heritage Festival, we are bringing to you all of these events live and in person. So, I mean, just tune in. Like, if you are unable, I mean, of course, certainly come out, because nothing can replace experiencing everything in person.
Certainly.
But, I mean, for those people that are, you know, watching from outside of Tobago who are unable to be here, continue to follow Tobago Updates on our Facebook page, on our YouTube link. You know, some of the shows are going to be broadcasted on Gaia and M&E TV as well. So just pay attention and just keep reading notices. You know, we'll be bringing to you all the live coverage so that you get to experience it yourself, even though you're not able to be here. But if you are here in Tobago, you need to be down at these events.
Certainly. And so just allow me quickly to say morning to my staff at Culture, all the division, the secretary, the administrator, Miss Sherry and Louis, and to Kimoy and Keisha and Guy and Silvers and the drummers and everybody. We love you. I love you. And it's such a good thing that culture is alive and well in Tobago.
Certainly. And on that note, we're just going to wrap up this interview. And I want to thank you so much for being on with us, Mr. Taylor. I mean, and we'll be hearing more from him throughout the week, right, as we treat with various events. However, that's it for this segment, but we'll be right back after this break with a whole lot more on Good Morning Tobago.
The Street 919 FM and the Tobago Updates presents the Tobago Updates Morning Show live simulcast on the Street 919 FM. Start your day with all the information you want and need with the simulcast of the Tobago Updates Morning Show live Mondays to Fridays from 7 a.m. on the Street 919 FM, the official station that defends the nation.
Advertise with Tobago Updates. Call 284-6597. If you have a small or large business, we can get your information in front of the masses. Reach our rapidly growing viewership on Facebook and YouTube. Promote your brand in Trinidad and the Caribbean through M&E TV Now and Gaia. Yes, we can build unique ads for your business. Call now 284-6597 and advertise with us.
Good morning, good morning, put a smile on your
There we go to Tobago, that paradise, Bomba, Robinson Crusoe. And it is said, it's the land of tomorrow. Princess Margaret say, come to Tobago for holiday. Now the whole world say, come to Tobago for holiday. Smile, let we smile, let we smile in Tobago, that paradise, Bomba, Robinson Crusoe. And it is said, it's the
I'm Patricia Nicholson Richards. To our
Welcome to
top
Tobago
story.
Update Sports. I'm your boy Marcus Daniel. Thank you.
Trinidad and
looms
as
remains when the public is nobody lives here. Oil and gas exploration continues to affect the livelihood.
Spearsides Marine
In Tobago fishermen,
When will the
Sion
Roxborough
Francis
Hospital be fully functional?
of the 5 a.m. to 12 p.m. window
Still find
at the island
treasures
like the Golden
continue to
Waterfall
rise
in Tobago.
The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorns Place, with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorns Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable.
Tobago updates. Na 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 na. Good morning, Tobago. Na 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 na. Wake up with Candace and Denasia.
Let's go, go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks a favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power. We are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers. We are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying. Tobago is number one. I am you and you are me. Together we stronger. Good morning, Tobago.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, and we are continuing our conversations here this morning, and we are going to be speaking to the first voluntary non-numerative blood drive that will be happening out of the Buku Health Center on Friday. And to speak with us, we have the wonderful, the very gentle, the very jovial Nurse Bruce, and then we have, of course, Dr. Victor Wheeler, and then on the line we have Dr. Kenneth Charles, and who's the Director of Blood Transfusion Service in Trinidad. A special good morning and welcome to each of you.
Morning.
All right, great. Now, first of all, I'm going to start with you, Dr. Wheeler. Tell me a little bit about this blood drive that's happening on Friday at the Buku Health Center.
Okay, so this is the first time we will be having a voluntary, non-remunerative blood drive, meaning the persons who we are targeting to give blood are persons who will be willing to donate blood altruistically because we are trying to transition away from the chit system. This is the first time something like this is being done not only in Tobago but in Trinidad, because the TRHA has acquired 2 mobile donation chairs that will be setting up at the health center, and we'll be having nurses like Nurse Bruce present to bleed persons who come to give blood. But we are really targeting those persons who are coming to be voluntary blood donors, who are giving blood not for a chit, but just for the sake of being a registered blood donor.
And why is it so important that the public just comes forward?
Well, what we are targeting is we are trying to transition away from the chit system which we currently use. If you have someone who's a regular blood donor who donates 2 to 3 times a year, you are more likely to have a stock of blood that will boost our supplies at the hospital. For Tobago, we are targeting 600 to 700 persons to become registered donors who will give blood regularly. The reason for this is that, as you know, in the health system, blood is an important part of our treatment. Blood is needed during accidents, persons who have deliveries and bleed, and also if we have to perform elective surgery, we need blood for those situations.
All right, and then we have Nurse Bruce here on set with us. And as with Nurse Bruce is one of those wonderful people that you are going to meet in the blood clinic, and she will be there in Buku as one of those nurses that's going to be handling you. And Nurse Bruce, I know for those people that are apprehensive, because yes, it's blood, it's needles getting stuck in you. Should people be afraid of this process?
You don't need to be afraid, because when you come into the blood bank, we don't just take you and bleed you, right? It's a process. Okay? We are going to register you. You are going to do an interview, and you're going to do a mini screening, right? All of this is in preparation to make sure that first that you are safe during the process.
Yes. And then tell me a little bit more about that process. You know, what is it like? And I know there are certain details that you can't give off, but just on a general sense, what can people expect when they go for go to the blood clinic, or more importantly, come to Buku on Friday?
Okay. So you can expect as you come in, well, first we want you to walk with a form of national ID. Okay. Have a meal. Make sure you are well rested. Make sure you are hydrated. So you must hydrate before you come. All right? And stay clear of alcohol for at least 24 hours. Okay? And then you come to us. When you come in, you'll be registered. All right? This is where we take your name, address, and
basic information.
Basic information. Then an interview will be done. The interview consists of questions. Questions about would be based on your medical history, lifestyle history, travel history, basically. All right. We are going to. The questions would be, you'll be asked, for instance, when last you had a flu. All right. Your vaccination. When last you had a vaccination. Okay. You'll be asked. For females, you'll be asked along the lines whether you are pregnant. All right, because we have to ensure that the donor is safe, and we are looking for the safest possible unit. Allergies.
Very important.
Yes. Right. Lifestyle, sexual behaviors. Okay, and travel history. For instance, if you travel to South American countries, okay, or certain countries in the world that are very prevalent, malaria and a condition, disease known as Chagas. So we have to ensure that the safest possible unit. Also, we would ensure that you have met the age criteria, which is from 18 years. And the upper limit, there's no upper limit now for donation. As long as you are healthy, you can donate.
All right, and of course we have on the line Dr. Kenneth Charles, who's also going to be speaking to us about this blood drive. And I just want you to tell me, why is it so important that we go out in these communities, and also, you know, just to give us an idea of how much blood do we need to have on standby in our health system?
Good morning and thank you, and welcome to my colleagues who appear to be doing very well. Not sure if I was needed. Congratulations to Tobago, commend you, and as Dr. Wheeler pointed out, it is really a first. Second, I was looking at your clips on the Heritage Festival and recognizing Tobago for what it is, and Trinidad and Tobago for what it is, and the blood donation system is a residue of the colonial past, when the chit system and the giving blood for self or for family arose rather than community blood donation that occurred in other countries. Blood is perishable. So whatever is donated, it lasts 28 days. It has a shelf life. And because there is an inbuilt shortage, because people donate only when their family is in need, it means that whatever little is there is pre-assigned to specific key people, so it creates a shortage within a shortage. What this move does, it liberates the society to just give for nothing in return and to give repeatedly, so that although blood is expiring, there's always a constant supply because it's ongoing. And there are no strings attached, it's a lot safer, and it augurs well for the country, it augurs well for social development. And I'm sure you could add this to your Tobago Heritage festivities next year. Because it's a matter of great national pride. And I'm very happy to be part of it as a national effort.
All right, great. Dr. Wheeler, I just want to bring you in a little bit. Tell me about just our capacity here in Tobago for blood, as well as, you know, our nurses, the nurses like Nurse Bruce, who attend to our to the persons that come in to donate blood. What capacity do we have?
Okay, so we have 2 blood donating chairs at the blood bank. And ideally, we can do 2 persons every hour. So for this drive on Friday, we are also targeting 2 persons an hour. We'll be looking to see if we can get maybe 15 to 20 persons, if possible, to become registered donors. Now, our need in terms of our population, we have a population of 60,000. And the percentages would suggest that we need 3% of that population in terms of the number of units a year. That's 1,800 units, blood units a year. And if we have persons donating 2 to 3 times a year, so for Tobago, we are looking to target between 600 to 700 voluntary, non-remunerated blood donors that will sustain our blood bank and our needs for blood in Tobago.
Okay, and I mean, just swinging back to Dr. Charles, why do you think there is such, why do you think that there's such a fear of people coming forward in Trinidad and Tobago to donate blood?
I don't think it's fair. Most of it is not knowing anything about it, which is another part of the legacy about which we spoke. And if you don't know anything about it, it will make you afraid. Anything of which you're not informed. And what we have found, and I must say before I speak about this whole movement started at the University of the West Indies in St. Augustine, Trinidad and Tobago. And several of your young Tobago medical students who are at the center of it, and I'm very proud of them. And they've all promised to serve Tobago by spreading these events nationally there. So it's not fair. Once one gets into it and one understands, it's not just a question of getting a needle stick. If one understands that with each needle stick, you're saving the lives of potentially 3 people, and you're sparing the society the horror of having to go out and beg for blood, it's very fulfilling, and it soon becomes a non-issue. Once you've done it once, and I imagine you will soon become a voluntary, non-remunerated donor yourself.
All right.
People do it repeatedly and fearlessly. It's like anything, it's just initially not knowing, which we plan to solve. And once we get past that, it grows rapidly. And I want to reassure your public that when you start with this single voluntary, non-remunerated drive, think less of the numbers recruited because they will grow exponentially. We found that at the University of the West Indies in St. Augustine. We started with 13 our first drive, and within 12, we were over 100 per event.
Wow.
So much so that it outstrips the capacity of the unit. So rest assured, the important thing is to implant the seed and allowing it to grow. So protect, be proud, and you have very good staff there. Nurse Bruce and Dr. Wheeler testimony to that. And Dr. Rachel Span is one of my students as well. I lecture at the university, and we have quite a crew of them who are earmarked for coming to Tobago and keeping this drive alive.
And Nurse Bruce, I mean, you are one of those nurses that actually deal with the people that come in for blood donations, and you've dealt with a number of people that were first-timers. Yeah. So I want you to tell me a little bit about that experience of when you deal with someone who comes in for the first time. What are their reactions throughout the process and when it's complete, and how does that change how they feel about donated blood in the future?
Okay. As a first timer coming into the blood bank, the donor is usually scared, they're usually afraid. So it is our duty at the blood bank to make them comfortable, okay? Make them understand the process, all right? And we stay with them throughout the process, from beginning to finish, okay? Usually, after they have donated that first unit, they are usually, why was I so afraid? This is so easy, you know. I was comfortable right through. Usually they thank us, all right, and they usually let the staff know that thank you for making us comfortable. We'll be back. Miss Candice, I know you donated on World Blood Donor Day.
Yes, I did.
How was your experience at the blood bank?
So you see, the conversation has flipped now. I mean, yes, it was a lot easier than I anticipated because I have a fear of needles, and I would say a justified fear in a sense because I did not have very good experiences with IV needles in the past because I'm a tiny person and I have tiny veins. But these are the experts. You know, when I went in, you know, the conversation was like, but you have good veins. Miss Bruce kept saying, oh, there it is. Miss Bruce kept saying that I have good veins. And Miss Bruce, I want you to tell me a little bit about that. I mean, that process of you finding the veins and being able to work with the veins. And for those that are fearful, like myself was, you know, I mean, how do you get them around that fear?
Well, being trained by the National Blood Transfusion Service, right, we have been taught how to handle the clients in those situations. As I said, we would usually make from beginning, from the time the clients walk in, you can see the nervousness. So it begins there. Family patient begins on entry to the blood bank. And in your interfacing with the client, you strive your best to make them as comfortable as possible and understand. And you talk them through the process.
Yes.
If they have questions, you allow them to ask the questions and answer to the best of your knowledge.
And and I have to say, you know, it really, I mean, it is something that it's not as comfortable because, I mean, you're getting stuck with a needle, but the nurses there at the blood donor clinic, they are absolutely amazing and they do everything to make you comfortable. Like, I'm not, you know, fibbing here or anything like that. This is truth here, you know. It is a lot easier than you think it is. And then there's also, I mean, there was something that you told me when I went in, and that is the fact that, you know, if you've had bad experiences at a hospital and that sort of thing, that was usually because your body was not in the best of situation. But when you come in to give blood, you're usually quite healthy, you're alive, you're well, and that makes it easier for the needles to go in and less painful.
Yes. And also note that after your procedure, you are being observed for 15 minutes, your reaction to make sure that after you have donated, you are back to your previous health, back to your condition, normalcy as much as possible. Okay, so we have to make sure that you leave with a good impression on your mind for you to spread the news and to return.
All right, great. And as we're getting ready to wrap up, I think we still have Dr. Charles on the line. So I'm going to start with you, Dr. Charles, you know, just to give us just to reiterate why we need to come out as a public to give blood.
It's very good that all this is coinciding with our 60th anniversary of independence. And I think it's apart from collecting more blood and collecting safer blood and sparing our communities and societies the stress and horror of having to scramble and scrape for blood whenever an emergency arises. It is socially building. It creates a social glue when a community donates blood for nothing in return, just for the good of the community, and it's been shown that it is matched to development in other ways. So it's really a big time for independence. I think that's the most important thing, is social transformation. And the other things like more blood and safe blood are welcome, but perhaps incidental.
All right. And Dr. Wheeler, could you just give us the details, the location and that sort of thing as to when and where people can come to be part of the blood donation drive?
Okay, so it's at Boku Health Center, that's in Boku, and we're hoping to start at 8 o'clock, and we hope to have the last person giving blood at 3 o'clock that evening.
And that's on Friday? On
Friday, yes. This Friday, the 29th of July, 2022, in 4 days' time.
And of course, you mentioned that there are other locations that you guys are going to hit. Do you have any schedules yet for those other locations?
So the blood bank at the hospital is open Monday to Friday. After we've gone through this exercise, remember this is the first time we are doing something like this. We will have a debriefing session after. The intention is that we hope to bring this blood drive to various communities in Tobago, so that we are bringing the ability for you to donate blood closer to where you live. We know that there's a reluctance for some persons to come to the hospital, particularly during the time of COVID. So this is another effort of the TRHA to bring healthcare services closer to you.
And viewers, if you miss that, and if you're not able to come on Friday, as Dr. Wheeler mentioned, the hospital still is open and the blood donor clinic is there. And then we have Nurse Bruce there. And I mean, I keep praising Nurse Bruce, but it is really that kind of, that high quality experience and service that you do get there. So Nurse Bruce, I want you to have the final word.
Yes. And also, the Ministry of Health, there's a website at which the donors can register online. You go up to the Ministry of Health, you register, they will give you an appointment date to come in and see us. And the other option is to walk into the blood bank. We are happy to have you.
Yes, and you would have a very wonderful time there. The nurses, all of them are they're wonderful. I can't say that enough, right? So I just want to thank you so much, of course. You know, viewers, if you are watching, please, you know, step forward, you know, do what you can for the greater good. You heard from Dr. Charles. It's all about social preservation of our country as we're getting ready for independence, you know, and celebrating who we are as a people and making sure that, you know, we can continue as a country going forth. And one of those ways is through ensuring our health system is alive and well and functioning. And a major part of that is ensuring that there is always blood on standby in the case of an emergency, so that should it happen, we hope it doesn't happen because we don't want anything to happen to any of our people, but should it happen, it is available for us. So I want to thank you, Dr. Wheeler, Dr. Charles, Nurse Bruce, you know, for coming on set this morning and to speaking with us about the blood donor drive, and we're really, really hoping that people can come out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Great. Well, viewers, that's it for the show today. So I want to thank you again for joining us. And, you know, even though we don't have anything lined up today for the Tobago Heritage Festival, any lives for today, I should say, don't be afraid to go on down to the micro market that's at the old car park for the FCB, of where FCB was in Scarborough, downtown Scarborough. So go check it out. There's wonderful things there for you. And yes, keep paying attention to all the events that are coming forth in the next few days. Tobago Updates has you covered. In the meantime, you know, that's it from me, Candace Jackson, for Good Morning Tobago. It was a wonderful being with you again this morning and to having these conversations with you. And I just hope that you have a wonderful, safe, and productive day. And we'll be back again with you bright and early at 7 o'clock in the morning, starting off with Rhea and Julian. So see you then.
As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong.